Tonight, COVID restrictions easing early for the fully vaccinated in Broken Hill. And more South Australian schools added to the state government's vaccination rollout.
From our 7 Spencer Golf Studios, your nightly news with Ruby Kamain begins now.
Good evening. The next stage for Broken Hill's reopening has been brought forward by a month for the fully vaccinated, with restrictions to ease further on Monday. The news less positive for the unvaccinated, who will have to wait longer.
Christmas is coming early for New South Wales businesses and families, given greater freedoms sooner.
How good is it that we've actually faced down this enemy of this hidden virus and managed to get our freedoms back?
Almost 88% of over 16s in the state are fully vaccinated. Broken Hill hit that milestone mid-last week.
Confidence is key, opening up safely is key. And the high vaccination rates in New South Wales have enabled us to bring that 1 December date for the fully vaccinated forward.
From Monday, there'll be no limits on in-home visitors, no rules on outdoor gatherings under 1,000 people, relief for businesses with density limits back to 1 per 2 square metres, capacity limits scrapped for most. Outdoor recreation and indoor entertainment facilities can operate at full seated capacity or under density limits. The unvaccinated mostly shut out until 95% vaccination is reached or until December 15th, potentially a fortnight later than originally planned.
Ultimately as well, we want a united society, and we believe that by moving that date back to the 15th of December, it will incentivise.
Indoor masks also staying until that point.
This is a really important risk mitigation strategy for indoor settings.
One new case was recorded in Broken Hill today, linked to a known case. Lachlan Itter, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Meanwhile, people across the region are still rolling up their sleeves to get vaccinated, according to the latest SA Health data. While no major targets have been recorded this week, the state government is now expanding the rollout to more schools across the Spencer Gulf.
A state on track.
We are still on track to get to that 80% fully vaccinated 16 and over population by the 23rd of November.
SA Health data as of October 31, revealing a slight increase in vaccination rates across the Spencer Gulf.
It is great to see the numbers continuing to grow, but it's really important that vaccination is our pathway out of the pandemic.
Port Pirie is up 3% from last week, just shy of reaching 80% for first doses. Port Augusta leading the way in our regional city centres, 64% are fully vaccinated. And rates in Whyalla are up about 2%. Almost 63% of residents there have had both jabs. Taking a look across the region, and more than 70% of Clare and Northern Areas residents are now fully vaccinated. In Orroroo-Carrington, 90% of residents have had 1 jab, while 77% are double vaxxed. Meanwhile, the COVID vaccination rollout has received a major boost this week, making the jab available in 54 additional schools, aiming to reach 34,000 students by the end of the term. Of those, Port Augusta's Caritas College, Gladstone High School, Samaritan College, Whyalla High School, St Joseph's in Port Lincoln, and special needs schools across the region are included.
It's great for children to be able to be vaccinated with their families. It's really important that we all get vaccinated to protect not only ourselves but our families and our communities.
It's hoped the expansion will accelerate the push towards double-dose vaccination milestones outlined in the state's COVID roadmap. Katrina Musson, 7 Spencer Golf News.
And Rex Airlines has announced all frontline staff on duty across the Spencer Gulf are now fully vaccinated against COVID-19. The company says the measure includes pilots, flight attendants and customer service officers at the airport. The airline will fully reopen its major city domestic network on November 15, with regional flights already in operation. A nationwide report has identified people moving from capital cities to regional areas has accounted for 6.2% of all movers this year. The shift in migration patterns, mainly due to COVID-19, directly affecting the Spencer Gulf, with Port Augusta one of the top relocation centres.
Open arms amid a metro exodus. New data showing Port Augusta's population is continuing to grow, with more people leaving the big cities.
we've seen in our collaboration between the Regional Australia Institute and CBA is that people are continuing to move out of capital cities to regional Australias.
Commonwealth Bank's Regional Movers Index tracking interstate migration to identify growth trends and hotspots for housing and infrastructure. In the newly released October report, Port Augusta was listed as one of the top 5 LGAs for annual migration growth.
It just shows how good the regional areas are and how Port Augusta and Whyalla are performing. I think it's great. Port Augusta and Whyalla have done a lot of work to make their towns presentable.
The regional epicentre currently seeing 55% growth in the number of metro movers from this time last year. This sudden jump recorded as the 3rd largest in the country.
No offence to the cities, but when I go there regularly, it's just like ants to honey. You're crowded and there's not that environment where you can feel free.
The COVID-19 pandemic and the severity of other states' lockdowns cited as the main reason for relocating to the region.
The Spencer Gulf's 5 minutes away, Flinders Range is 15 minutes away. It's just a great environment, good fresh air.
Edward McCarroll, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
The day's other news coming up tonight. International companies express interest in the Port Bonython hydrogen project, and hundreds of thousands of dollars set to upgrade Port Lincoln's weight reserve. Welcome back. A learner driver has been reported for several traffic offences in Port Lincoln over the weekend. Just before 9 on Saturday night, police pulled over a white Ford sedan which was allegedly driving without lights on and unregistered. A 36-year-old Port Lincoln driver allegedly returned a blood alcohol reading of 0.046. Police say the learner driver did not have a supervising driver and was not displaying L plates. He is summoned to appear in court at a later date. Broken Hill Police is cracking down on those illegally riding dirt bikes around town. Officers stopping a bike on Sunday afternoon near Patton Street. The 31-year-old rider, accused of driving an unregistered and uninsured bike and allegedly doing so without a current rider's licence. He'll now need to appear before local court.
Dirt bikes have become a real issue within the town. It's certainly something that frustrates people, that you hear all hours of the day, motorbikes going around that aren't road bikes, that shouldn't be on the road.
Local police also ramping up patrols today to catch any drivers taking Cup Day celebrations a bit too far. The state government has announced several international companies have expressed interest in operating the Port Bonython hydrogen hub. Community leaders in Whyalla are optimistic about the news, saying this will help diversify the city's economy.
Potentially transforming the economic landscape of the Spencer Gulf. The state government announcing over the weekend strong international interest in the proposed Port Bonython hydrogen hub.
We've received expressions of interest from all over the world, shortlisted down to 7 potential projects, very reputable organisations.
Expressions of interest for the project opened in May. The Energy Minister saying the strong reception from global companies proves the state can meet its renewable energy goal by 2050.
What we're working on is a project of genuinely international proportions. So, of course, massively beneficial for Whyalla and Port Augusta and Port Pirie and the Upper Spencer Gulf.
Whyalla's community leaders have reacted to the news. Mayor Claire McLaughlin welcoming potential new investments in the Steel City.
It's going to create more jobs, it's going to bring money into our economy, and it's going to help to diversify the economy here in Whyalla.
The member for Giles says it is a step in the right direction while wanting to see how the project will be formed.
We've got a lot going for us when it comes to Whyalla being the green hydrogen and green ammonia hub for our state.
Mark Zita, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Port Lincoln Council has been successful in acquiring funding for upgrades to Weight Reserve. The state government awarding 19 councils from around the state with funds to deliver projects for their communities.
Investing in Port Lincoln's open spaces, the council set to deliver upgrades to Weight Reserve involving the whole community.
Not only will they be able to use it, they'll be able to assist in the design and the construction and have ownership for that park itself.
The state government committing $15 million to open space projects around South Australia. The Planning and Local Government Minister saying jobs will be created through these projects.
Most importantly, for people who then ultimately are part of building the infrastructure for these areas and then maintaining them. This is the ongoing employment.
$323,000 set for the weight reserve upgrades, the council matching the funds, helping to improve infrastructure on the site.
We'll upgrade the existing playground. We're going to also upgrade into a half-court basketball and netball court.
The minister saying the council's application was approved due to the strategic importance of the reserve to the community.
Identified need, an opportunity to be able to co-locate with other amenities like schools or areas that, playgroups that might need to be able to utilise the outdoors.
Council was hoping to begin phase 1 before the end of the year. Dylan Smith, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Port Augusta City Council's funding debate for the Arid Lands Botanic Gardens is continuing, with the mayor now appealing to local MPs. In the interest of saving taxpayer dollars, the council says the state government should pitch in to maintain the tourist attraction.
The Arid Land Botanic Gardens left out to dry. The state government yet to entertain Port Augusta Council's request for the gardens to become state funded. Without any funding, the popular spot is currently reported to cost the council $750,000 per annum to maintain.
We're not seeking the whole thing to be funded, we're just seeking assistance just like every other botanic garden gets.
The Department for Environment and Water runs the Adelaide, Mount Lofty and Watunga Botanic Gardens, all of which receive millions of dollars in state funding.
It is an absolutely fantastic asset for Port Augusta and the north of the state. I certainly work closely with my colleagues to see, what else we can do for council. But look, it won't be possible to do everything.
The council says a request was made in the effort to save ratepayers' money, with the Arid Lands currently accounting for 4% of local council rates.
It's another alleviation to ratepayers' money. They've spent money over the years to make something outstanding and world-renowned, and we're just seeking some assistance with that.
With $22 million in marine infrastructure restoration already on the way, the state government says it may not be possible to fund the gardens as well.
I need to be really blunt and say, look, it won't be possible for the state government to take on all of the council's responsibilities. The council chose to establish the Botanic Gardens.
Edward McCarroll, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Stay with us after the break. Frocks, suits and fascinators all out for the race that stops the nation. And federal funding available for local councils to seal dirt roads. Hello again. Hundreds of locals flocked to the pubs for the race that stops the nation in Port Lincoln. Punters frocked up and placed their bets as crowds were welcomed back to Melbourne's Flemington Racecourse.
The champagne and beer flowing while fashion and fascinators were a must as groups gathered in numbers for this year's Melbourne Cup.
Yeah, people go to a lot of trouble because we haven't been able to get out and about much, and so everyone's happy to be able to dress up.
The roar of the crowd was back at Flemington this year, with the track welcoming 10,000 revellers, while at the Port Lincoln Hotel, a tradition for many on the first Tuesday of November.
We've had a fantastic day so far. We come here every year, so we're used to the atmosphere and we're having a good day.
Hundreds of punters flocking to pubs, running sweeps, with a few winning big. And some not so much. While some people studied the form guide to try and pick a winner, others went a different way.
Floating artist. I don't know, cool name.
Some taking a punt on almost half of the field.
Oh, about 8 or 9 horses.
All eyes were on race number 7 today as local boy Kieran McAvoy was looking to win his 4th Melbourne Cup aboard Grand Promenade.
And we've got Kieran McAvoy from Streaky Bay, so obviously we're pretty excited for him to win.
Oh, hopefully have a win. Yes, I don't know if I backed him though. I better go and back him.
Unfortunately, it wasn't to be for Kieran McAvoy today. Very elegant, storming home in the last 300 metres to take the cup over pre-race favourite Incentivise. Dylan Smith, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Port Pirie Regional Council is calling on the community to nominate outstanding citizens for the city's highest awards presented on Australia Day next year. Our reporter Katrina Musson has more.
Nominations are now open for Port Pirie's Australia Day Awards and the Certificate of Merit, recognising residents who have made significant contributions to the community.
We had some outstanding recipients last year. We had 5 recipients. The people that received acclaim thoroughly deserved it, which was wonderful, and from a large, diverse cultural and linguistic background as well.
The 3 categories for the nominations of the Australia Day Awards: Citizen of the Year, Young Citizen of the Year and Community Event of the Year. The Deputy Mayor says the awards provide an opportunity to thank people for their commitment to the Port Pirie community who would otherwise go unnoticed.
We really, really want people that are working within community and that are the unsung heroes within our community to be recognised and hopefully receive some accolades.
Council also continuing the Certificate of Merit for Outstanding Community Service. Nomination forms can be found on Council's website or at the Council office.
And I think we all know someone in the community that does some outstanding work, and we know that they should be recognised, and this is our opportunity.
Nominations close on November 26, with the winners to be presented at Australia Day next year.
The federal government has committed $150 million to upgrade unsealed roads across remote Australia. Under the trial program, the government will cover 80 to 100% of council's costs to fix neglected roads through sealing and vegetation management. New South Wales MP Mark Coulton saying key rural roads will be improved across his Parks electorate, and the funding will ease pressure on small councils completing the work. Stay with us after the break. We'll bring you the scores and highlights from weekend sport. And Alex Sykes will join us with the weather forecast. Welcome back. It's time now for the rest of the sports results from the weekend, with softball players across the region out in force and playing ball. With all the details, here's Mark Zeta.
While the MLB World Series is taking place in the United States, softballers here in the Spencer Gulf also had a productive outing on the diamond this past weekend. Starting off with Whyalla softball, and the Roadrunners could not match up to the Cats in their 6-run loss. Jen Ormsby hitting a home run along with 3 base hits. However, both sides were susceptible to errors, causing unearned runs to reach on base or score. It was a much closer affair with the Indians and Eagles, with the latter team winning by just 3 runs. The Eagles' Carmen Buzzacott pitching 4 strikeouts in the match. While for the Indians, Maddie Wellgraves' smart and aggressive base running helped her get home and score a run. Unfortunately, both sides were also error-prone, with unearned runs scored. Moving over to Port Pirie softball, the Checkmates had an 18-run loss against the Cats. The Cats' Harper Bridley was a star on the mound with 8 strikeouts. In the other game, the Tigers managed to get a 1-run win over the Cougars. Unforced errors by the Cougars led to unearned runs on base and in scoring position. Shani Warren, Rebecca Cox and Talisha Hillier recognised as the best players on the winning side. Moving on to round 9 of Port Lincoln squash, John Payne Painting defeated Hankins Electrical 311-202 to 1-4-140, while Lincoln Self Storage got their win against Wilkins Electrical, and Hawke Building defeated PS Electrical. Finally, in Port Lincoln tennis, Yumba Aquaculture won against Bendigo Bank by 3 games. McDonald's had the win against Port Lincoln Boat Supplies by 2 sets, while on Monday night, Shepherd Building defeated Terry White Chemmart. That's it for the weekend sports wrap. If you would like your team's results featured in our next bulletin, let us know through our Facebook page.
Let's now take a look at what's happening in the weather on Cup Day. Here's Alex Sykes.
Thanks, Ruby. And look, there was a bit of a damper on Melbourne Cup celebrations in our region today, with showers across most areas, and those wet conditions will continue tomorrow. From 3 p.m. today, Port Augusta was 26, Broken Hill was the only place to not record rain, mostly sunny and 32, and Coffin Bay was 28 degrees. Looking further out across the region now, Whyalla and Port Pirie were 35, Port Lincoln was 32, our friends in Adelaide were 33, as was Kadina and Cleve, Clare and Woodner were 31, Cooper Pedy had thunderstorms storms and was 29 degrees. Taking a look at the satellite image now, cloud crossing South Australia as tropical moisture feeds a trough and generates some showers. Skies are relatively clear in the south. Moving on to tomorrow's weather outlook now, and we'll start with the Gulf waters. North to northeasterly winds 10 to 15 knots, seas 1 to 1.5 metres, and south to southwesterly swell 1 to 2 metres. As I mentioned earlier, showers across the region tomorrow. Possible shower in Port Lincoln with 21 degrees. Cleve also 21. Woodner to reach 25 degrees. Whyalla and Kadina will be 23 degrees, and Port Augusta showers easing, set to reach a high of 26 degrees there. Similar conditions in Port Pirie 25. Clare showers with 22, and Broken Hill have showers and a possible storm 29 degrees. Taking a look further through the week now, and things are looking mainly fine on Thursday. Partly cloudy in Port Lincoln 20, mostly sunny in Port Augusta, Port Pirie and Woodner, all to reach 27. Sunny in Cooper Pedy with 31 the top. Mainly fine conditions again on Friday. Sunny in Port Augusta, Port Pirie and Broken Hill. Mostly sunny in Whyalla and Kadina, both to reach 29. Possible late shower in Cooper Pedy with 34. And a quick look at the weather now. Showers across the region with possible storms in most towns on Saturday. So it appears the wet and stormy conditions will return on the weekend, and that's all the weather from me for tonight. Hope you won big today at the races. Ruby, it's back to you.
Lovely. Thanks for that, Alex. And that's the local news this Tuesday evening. Thanks for joining us. I'll have updates later. Until then, enjoy your evening. Good night.